Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro drama. Obama. Ben Shapiro did an interview with Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin / Nag. Yeah, Dave Rubin's a huge piece of shit.
She wants to do, to be wherever she wants to be. And the difference between a publisher like the Daily Wire and a platform like Locals is obviously that a platform should have a very broad range of speech that it allows, including speech that maybe even the creators don't believe is inside what they would consider to be the Overton window. It's a very different thing than...
He's talking so fast.
Maybe even the creators don't believe is inside what they would consider to be the Overton window. It's a very different thing than direct subsidization of particular opinions.
God, Dave, could you have chosen a more irritating, horrible intro? Ugh. God, that was obnoxious. That hurt my ears. Smelly bastard. I hate this guy. He looks terrible.
All right, Shapiro, here we go. In person once again. I was told that the last time we actually sat...
Do you guys remember when Ben Shapiro told Dave Rubin he wouldn't come to his wedding because he lives in sin because he's a gay man? He said that to his face. You know, the faster you talk, the dumber you are. That's why I have very big gaps in between things that I say. Because I'm thinking really hard about it. And it takes a little bit of time. And I'm also really smart.
That in person together was July of 2020. Here we are in the free state of Florida.
And
you did it.
Not everything I say is prophetic. But that one, that felt like an easy call at the time and turned out to be like actually a really easy call. The good news is you did get the upside on the house that you bought in LA, so you didn't get totally hosed on that.
That's true.
Which is my fear for you when you bought that second house. I will say you could have saved yourself a few years and a lot of money in income tax.
A lot of money, a fruitless effort to depose Gavin Newsom in a recall election. I got audited by the state after that.
Why would he ever? Oh my God, you would not be able to waterboard that information out of me. I forgot that he tried to fucking unseat Gavin Newsom in the California recall. The California recall was so funny. Fucking Larry Elder was trying to be the governor of California, and he had literally no chance in hell. But I forgot Dave Rubin fucking ran too. I forgot. That's awesome.
That
your optimism had costs.
Oh my God, Ben Shapiro skinny jeans. What the fuck? He's got jeggings on. Ben. And then the shoes? God, these trad guys do not know how to dress themselves. Literally 8-year-old boy fashion. I swear to God. I mean, even Dave's fit's ridiculous and doesn't fit him. But Ben Shapiro is just all over the place. Not the jeggings. I will say, I've talked about this before. This is my theory. Conservative fashion and art and culture in general, in a visual at least way, is almost always 10 years behind. Ben Shapiro is dressed like a 2014 hipster. All of the conservatives dress like this now. Have you guys noticed this? They all do this now. 2013, 2014 millennial skinny jeans, and yet he's homophobic? Interesting. Wore skinny jeans to Dave Rubin's gay broadcast.
I tried. You know what I mean? And trying is always worth it, right? In this world that we're in right now.
I wish that were true.
Oh, no. The cope. I tried. No, I tried. And trying's always worth it. You are always a winner if you try. Participation trophy, motherfucker. No, you failed. You do or you do not. There is no try, and you did not.
Have you shifted now to the other side of this?
You know, every time I think I've hit the bottom of the pessimistic well, it turns out that there are leagues below me. And I can always find new ways to be pessimistic.
Conservative pessimism is literally just entitlement and fake outrage. It's like, so like, what do you have to be angry about in your fucking cushy, privileged life? What? Literally what? And his issues are Star Wars is woke. Candace Owens isn't pro-Israel enough. Joe Biden is raising my taxes and I'm pissed off. Like, come on.
All right, so let's do a bunch of stuff here.
Dave Rubin kind of looked like Bart Simpson real life fan cast.
Obviously, we've done this over Skype and that kind of stuff a couple of times, even just in the last few months. But
I think Ben wears skinny jeans because baggy jeans would make him look shorter. I think you're right.
It's been a while since we've sat down. I actually have notes here, which I hate having, but I want to kind of cover everything.
I hate having notes. As a reporter, as a political pundit, I hate having notes. I hate it. He's so doofy, dude. He's unserious. Dave Rubin hates knowing things.
In some ways, I want to do
I love that he used to be a Young Turks guy. Did you guys know know that way back in the day he used to be on the Young Turks, and he like was like, I left the left, I'm a gay conservative, and the left has gone too far. These guys have been saying this for so long. That's why Bill Maher saying it is so extra pathetic, because it's like, oh man, you finally caught on to conservative talking points that were online in 2016. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. You made a fucking video that Shuan had made 7 years ago. Except he's like, Canada is too far left now. Bill Maher, ladies and gentlemen, on HBO. This world is so fucking unserious. Stickier Joel McHale. Oh my god. Oh, that's brutal. I read it as Stickier Joel McHale, and that also works.
This as if I had never seen you before or know some of your stuff or interviewed you before. Because I think there's a lot of confusion about you and your positions, which is, do you find that odd, like someone who speaks as precisely and fast as you do, that people seem to be confused over your positions?
Yes. And I find it deeply confusing.
Did he talk so fast that his mouth didn't even move in that shot?
That people seem to be confused over your positions?
Yes.
Oh no, I missed it. I was looking at chat, and in my peripheral, it looked like his mouth didn't even move. It is a really fast cut.
That people seem to be confused over your positions?
Yes.
And
No one's confused over Ben Shapiro's positions. I've slowed him down. I've sped him up. I've watched him backwards. I know everything this guy says, and he's a fucking idiot. That's all it is. He's an idiot and he's a corporate shill. That's it.
And I find it deeply confusing because, again, I'm public record on everything for at least 20 years. I started writing a syndicated column when I was 17. I'm currently 40. So
interesting. When he was 17, he was writing a column on a website that had a column called fucking Black Crime that tracked specifically black crime. Normal. He had to denounce his own articles from like 2003 where he was talking about leveling Gaza. He literally advocated for a final solution for Palestine. He literally said the final solution for Palestine. That is an article that Ben Shapiro wrote. I'll find it. I feel like conservatives pay some fucking marketing agency to keep their shit hidden because it's hard to find shit on them, even when it's well known. Sorry, he didn't say final solution. He said the only solution. Yeah, check it out. Look, this is Ben Shapiro. This is exactly what he thinks now. Make no mistake. Here's the bottom line. If you believe that the Jewish state has a right to exist, then you must allow Israel to transfer the Palestinians and the Israeli Arabs. Wow. It's not just the Palestinians, Ben. Whew. Okay. God damn. So it's not even about, it's not anti-Semitic then. It's not about Judaism then. Okay. No, it's fine. He admitted. We must transfer the Palestinians and Israeli Arabs from Judea, Samaria, Gaza, and Israel proper. Fucking insane. It's an ugly solution, but it is the only solution. This is the motherfucker writing this, dude. We must transfer the Palestinians and Israeli Arabs from Judea, Samaria, Gaza, and Israel proper. Where? Where are they going? No idea, dude. Give the Arabs to some other country. That's what he's saying. Disgusting. Vile. And he has never changed on this position. This is why he fired Candace Owens, because she questioned this line of thinking a little bit. And she doesn't even care at all. I mean, Candace Owens loves Zionism. She just doesn't want to see it. Anyway, I hate him. I hate him.
Oh, the notion that you have to go far to search for my opinions is strange to me.
He also said that woke colleges were making your sons gay before woke was even a thing in 2003. He said, like, you take a class in gay or some shit. It was, like, insane. It's in an old video of mine.
The online world is
Do you think he got hair plugs? Potentially.
A real world. And the phrase I've been finding myself using a lot lately is touch some grass. And people need to go outside and
see what I mean? They're years behind. 2 years at least. At least.
Touch some grass. Like turn off X, go touch some grass. Turn off Instagram, go outside, look at the sky. Like the reality is that if you want to know my positions, I've been outspoken about literally all of them. I've not been unclear about them. There are, of course, people who are going to seek to twist those positions into something that they are not. And I understand that's the nature of the game. Nothing has changed there. But the prevalence and speed with which
I understand that's the nature of the game. I understand that I do that every single day to everyone.
It happens, that has changed. And that's gotten significantly worse over the course of the last few years.
How do you balance that for yourself? Because I talk about it on the show all the time. I mean, we're in this digital world. We're basically existing in the matrix, which I would say if you spend more than 12 hours and 1 second on there, you pretty much are just the battery for the thing. Versus we all go out and about. And at least
God, millennial, like, anti-tech brain poison, dude. They're in the matrix, the real matrix. If you spend more than 12 hours and 1 second on the computer, It's you're the battery for it. What is this, like, wannabe Joe Rogan bro science? Like, this is ridiculous. Also, The Matrix is about being trans.
At least here in Florida, we have a functional society and we have law and order and things like that. So just contrasting the lunacy that's happening there versus actually, not that everything's great in America, it certainly isn't. We're going to get to it, but there's a huge chasm between those two things.
For sure. And I think that for me,
yeah, Florida does not have a functioning society. Well, it functions to these guys because they only travel within a fucking 10-block radius of their house. Talking about touching grass. Like, that's nuts. You complain when there's brown people outside. What do you mean touch grass? Don't encourage your audience to go outside. Keep them in. They're freaks.
the big move that I made in my life was probably 5-6 years ago now, where my wife turned to me and she said, Twitter, even then, was taking up too much of your time and eating your life. You really need to not have Twitter on your phone. And so I took Twitter off.
God, I bet he's so annoying. I bet he's the most annoying partner in the world.
My phone. So what I'll do is I'll check in on specific accounts from the outside.
His dry wife had a problem with his Twitter addiction. Maybe his dry wife should talk to Jordan Peterson too.
Side of Twitter where I actually have to spend the effort to log in to Twitter and look up what a specific news account is saying, as opposed to just having this scrolling doom feed that is also filled with an echo chamber about you. The notifications button on Twitter is bad. It's gotten way worse since the... Listen, I love that Elon took over X.
You check the Ben Shapiro notifications?
No. I gave that up a long time ago.
He loves that Elon took over X, but he hates how bad the notifications are now. What do you like about it? Talk about the things you like. These guys never talk about anything of substance. It's all like shit that's only personal to them that they then extrapolate the greater meaning about society, which has usually nothing to do with anything and just like generally pro-corporate, bloodthirsty sentiment in general. It's just vibes.
I will say that it did get significantly worse when I would check on it since the changes to the blue check.
Yeah.
I mean, the changes to the blue check mark definitely opened up all the floodgates in terms of anyone now being in your notifications. So it made it a lot less usable just in terms of being user-friendly. But
I love that Elon took over Twitter. The first thing that he did is terrible and the worst thing about the website. But I'm happy that he took over Twitter. When he brought the sink in, he said, let that sink in. Did you get it? Did you get that one? I showed it to my dry wife.
And people who actually cared about commenting on what you were doing. But with all that said, yeah, I really don't check Twitter a lot, except for the news when I'm attempting to prep for the show. And I really try never to check the news.
Yeah, there's plenty of news on Twitter. It says a lot. It says a lot about you. If you actually consider Twitter a news source, it genuinely says a lot about you as a person. It's like you don't need to you don't even need to know anything else.
Call me asparagus.
Or the comments or anything remotely like that, because it is toxicity all the way up, all the way down.
All right, so let's do the elephant in the room for just a moment, because I saw you this week on Piers Morgan. He asked you repeatedly about Candace.
Yeah, I forgot about the first part. I guess there's not really anything to cover. Piers Morgan asked him a lot about Candace Owens, and he really wanted him to speak on it because he was like, well, aren't you anti-censorship? How do you square firing Candace Owens for her free speech? And Ben was just like, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. You're mean. I'm not talking about that. I'm only going to talk about that on my friend's podcast, not you. Not on a platform where someone can ask me mean questions. I'm only going to talk about that with my friend. My final word on Candace. What a pussy.
You repeatedly basically said,
I won't talk about that.
Don't want to talk
I'll say
about
that here too.
And that's fine. And it's interesting because we all sort of came up together to different extents, and we've all done a million things together in public events and networks and all those things.
Dave Rubin is not exactly on the same level as Ben Shapiro or Candace Owens even.
It seems to me that at this moment, she's now a free agent. She happened to end up on Locals, which I created, and they were a platform.
She's on some stupid platform called Locals. I don't know why she didn't just go straight to Kick. That would honestly, Kickstream collab with Sneeko, she would have been made. She would have been instantly made in the bag. Candace doesn't know culture like that though. And Sneeko's so unpredictable that he could say some crazy shit or get her to say some crazy shit. I just want that to happen. Just two huge pieces of shit. How low can they go?
A publisher that you guys are.
Yeah, she could have grifted off of the incels 100%. And it's a huge L that she's not. I don't know what the fuck she's trying to do. She went on Breakfast Club to try to I don't even know. I don't know what she was doing on there. Really? She said so much horrible shit. Horrible white supremacist shit. I don't know why the fuck she went on there.
Can you at least talk to just sort of where it's at now?
She's met not with Sneeko. You. How was he?
She's free.
She's free to do whatever she wants to do, to be wherever she wants to be. And the difference between a publisher like the Daily Wire and
Yeah, she's free to be wherever she wants to be, other than the Daily Wire.
a platform like Locals is obviously that a platform should have a very broad range of speech that it allows, including speech that maybe even the creators don't believe is inside what they would consider to be the Overton window. It's a very different thing than direct subsidization of particular opinions. So the Daily Wire would not have a host, would not pay a host who was staunchly pro-abortion. They would have no obligation to pay a host who is staunchly pro-abortion. And so when it comes to the hosts on the Daily Wire, obviously everyone is able to say what they want. Nobody ever comes to me and says, you can't say X. Nobody ever says that to Walsh. And no one ever said that to Candace. But the reality is that
not according to Candace. I think that's a lie. I think that's a flat out lie. And there's a reason that he's saying this to Dave Rubin is because Dave Rubin is not going to say, well, she said you told her not to talk about stuff. I'm pretty sure she said that she was not allowed to talk about Israel anymore or Gaza anymore.
there is an Overton window at the Daily Wire. Obviously, there was a non-meeting of the minds. That's pretty much all I can say on this. And, you know, a lot of this has happened publicly. But you know, to the extent that the Daily Wire is in fact not a publisher, it is that is in fact not a platform, it is a publisher. That means that there is no moral obligation for the Daily, and there's no free speech problem with the Daily Wire saying we don't wish to pay a particular host or that host saying.
There's no problems, actually. There's no free speech problem. There's no moral problem. It's actually awesome.
I don't wish to work here anymore because, again, there's a parting of the ways that you know, is not really open for discussion at this point.
Does it surprise you that so many people, even on our side of this, are confused about that as it relates to free speech and quote unquote cancel culture? Like severing a business tie, as long as you're not throwing someone in jail, they're able to be everywhere else, is not.
I'm not super surprised at the controversy, honestly, because to a certain extent, I think that there's been a reaction on the right to the excesses of the left. So because what the left did is they said that the Overton window ought to be closed so tight that no one can get inside the Overton window. Basically, if you're to the right of Hillary Clinton, you can't be allowed inside the Overton window.
World,
yes, exactly. And not
right
just with regard to
I don't feel like these guys would really disagree with Hillary Clinton on much. Abortion for sure. Fundamentally, not really anything else. I don't think. Regulation, I guess, but conservatives don't really care about that.
Platforms with regard to publishers. So, for example, this week, NBC News deciding that Ronna McDaniel.
Trans rights? No, Hillary Clinton doesn't fundamentally give a shit about trans rights. She's been anti-queer from the beginning.
Was too much for them. Ronna McDaniel can't work at NBC News. The sacred halls of NBC News must not be sullied by the former head of the RNC. Jen Psaki, however, can have a show on MSNBC despite being the press secretary for the White House 5 seconds ago. Right? The right's response to that is
Kayleigh McEnany's on Fox News and he doesn't give a shit about that.
I think.
Why are you talking about fucking MSNBC? Talk about Candace Owens.
Correct to say you guys have shut the Overton window too tight, but I think some
Overton ballsack. I don't care.
Elements of the right to platforms, with which I kind of agree, but with regard to publishers, news has the obligation to hire Alex Jones, for example.
Right, which just makes no sense at a business level, beyond free speech. I mean, there's a reason.
I don't feel like these guys understand why people are concerned about this, even. I know, they are the masters of the most boring clickbait. Thanks, Mr. Rubin. Perhaps it's time to interview Candace next to also see her perspective? Damn, that's crazy, dude. He's getting cooked by his own comments. Him smearing her by insinuating she's an anti-Semite simply because she was critical of the Israeli government sounds a lot like someone smearing a person as transphobic simply for saying it isn't fair for men to compete in women's sports. That's ridiculous. Well, here's the thing at the same time. Ben Shapiro fumbling this is really bad just in general. And here's the thing. Here's why. Candace she's the token. She's the token position. She knows that. But the Daily Wire is pro-Israel. And Candace Owens has always been anti-Semitic. Always. She's like Kanye level anti-Semitic. She's super anti-Semitic, which is why she's not as pro-Israel as the rest of the Daily Wire goons. She did defend Hitler. Yes. Candace Owens defended Hitler. She said he just wanted to make Germany great. And the problem was that he was expansionist. That was the only thing he did wrong. If he just kept it within Germany, it would have been fine. That's what she said about Hitler. So it's no surprise to me that she would link up with people like Nick Fuentes, someone that Ben Shapiro doesn't exactly like, but now she gave clout to Nick Fuentes just by like stirring up this drama. And he started the whole fucking Christ is King hashtag. And that was fucking trending, or not hashtag or whatever. All the Nazis were like commenting Christ is King under Ben Shapiro posts or whatever to like anti-Semitism signal. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you don't believe in Jesus, and that's what's wrong with you, which is a super insane reason to be anti-Semitic. Not that any reason is good, but like, because you like Jesus too much. Jesus was a Jew, so that makes no sense. I know. Anti-Semitism doesn't make sense. Was it Lenin that said it was the simple man's socialism? Because at the end of the day, you have to realize that you're being oppressed by something once you're like awakened to societal hierarchy. If you deny that it's capitalism, many people go to racialized issues, and that can take a lot of forms. But especially in Europe, primarily anti-Semitism. Do you know how to convince someone that leftist ideologies do not make people lazy? I mean, welfare statistically doesn't make people lazy. Free healthcare doesn't make people lazy. If anything, it makes people more productive. So does public transportation. The government funding things always makes stuff move better and faster. There's so many examples of it. Even the New York subway system. Any fucking government can just build that. The federal government could just do that. And then under fucking Dallas. And then you all wait, now Dallas has a fucking subway, and Dallas could be an insane mega city. Oh, that was exhausting. The fucking Ben Shapiro. It's always so tiring, dude.